Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 449 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today deep in the hollers of Wisconsin, the one and only Ben Askren. Ben, how are you this morning?
Well, you know what occurred to me this morning, and it really got me a little bit nervous.
Oh.
This is my fifth show on or sixth show on? I don't remember. Not a lot, right?
Fifth.
And what got me really nervous is, what if I have the same shirt on like 3 days in a row and I forget? Because I don't pay attention. And then, people start roasting me on Twitter because I just keep wearing the same clothes. Like, did I wear this shirt yesterday? I'm not really sure. It was clean, so I just threw it back on again. I can't recall.
Okay, one, to relieve your anxiety, you wore the Ivan Drago shirt yesterday. So,
oh, yes. Okay, sweet.
So you're good. One, but
okay.
I want to get into, how do you determine if something's clean? How do you know?
If it's on the shelf, it's clean. If it's on the floor, it's dirty. That's simple, right?
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, that's simple enough. So I don't understand how you would end up. So you would wear a shirt all day and then put it on the clean shelf?
Okay. So yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you something here. This is gonna break your minds.
I love it.
Okay. And you have to take my word for it. I actually don't have body odor.
What? Really?
Yes. You can ask my wife. I do not have body odor. So if I wear a shirt for a couple hours and say I don't spill spaghetti sauce on it, and then I take it off and I go put another shirt on to work out, that shirt is obviously, I don't body odor. It's still clean. I can throw it back on the clean shelf, fold it up, put it back up there. And then the next day I wake up, go to grab something. It could be the same shirt potentially.
So your underarms do not produce anything that smells bad?
No, my wife can verify this for you. They do not.
Okay. That's probably all the verification I need.
No body odor.
Well, that's very convenient. How nice.
It is.
Especially for someone that, exercised for a living. Now,
yeah.
You never
smell.
smell.
I have never worn deodorant in my entire life.
Wow. Amazing. The more you know. Well, we've learned a lot. We're going to learn even more because we talked about this last week. We need to get Ben Askren's NCAA predictions on the record, and we need to make our NCAA predictions on the record. So we made ours in the preseason. But
so are you erasing your previous post? Because we went on this because I think it could be cheating from you guys.
So here's the thing. Okay, item one. To me, it should require a lot for you to change your mind. Like if you're gonna change your thing, so you have to make a very public declaration that you are abandoning your previous pick. I'm not sure if I'm going to abandon any of mine. So for that reason, I think no. I think we're not going to be cheating. No one's going to be able to call back and say, "Oh, I predicted this in September or whatever," because we are above that here on FloWrestling Radio Live.
All right, that's fair.
I also don't remember half my picks, so
yeah. So cool. I think I do remember mine. So we need to do this because we need Ben's on the record selections. But I'm also curious if anyone has changed their mind. I think I remember all of my picks. So we're gonna do this. And what spurred this on is Nomad did his midseason awards where he gave out the midseason Hodge, midseason Coach of the Year, midseason Freshman of the Year.
Who were they?
Midseason Hodge.
Did you want to do that before and address that, or just go into the pick? I don't care either way. Just
address the nation, Nomad.
So I did. Christian came up to me, said I should do some midseason awards, even though we're a little bit past the midseason, but I'll put that on myself. And Hodge Trophy was pretty easy because, as you guys know, I do Hodge rankings, and not a lot has changed since the last Hodge rankings I did, so that should not have been a surprise to anyone. Coach of the Year was extremely difficult.
Who was it? Who was it?
It was Zahid Valencia.
Oh, I picked Spencer. You're garbage.
Spencer's not pitting a lot of guys this year. And then Coach of the Year is difficult. I think Coach of the Year is the hardest one to do anyway because Hodge is pretty simple. It's undefeated, most dominant. Rookie/freshman of the Year is pretty easy. It's like there's only one or two guys that place really, really high at NCAAs that you can choose from. But Coach of the Year, right, you could do, should it be the champ? Should it be the guy that did the most with the least? Should it be the guy who, had done something that team hasn't done in a while? So I think there's a lot of things that go into it. Coach of the Year, at this point in the year, I gave it to Tony Ersland of Purdue, and my finalists were Matt Storniolo and Tony Roby. I think Kale and Tom Brands are awesome, but I think I prefer the most with the least as opposed to like the program that wins it. And then freshman of the year, and this one really surprised me, but I had to go through the resumes. Tony Cassiope of Iowa.
Really?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a couple of things. One, just because we're doing this Nomad, these don't have to actually be your picks because these are like if you were given the award right now thing. But like these are your this segment you can make whatever pick you want it to be.
Sure.
Okay. So with that, Ben, why don't we start at 125 pounds, where I think we all know who we're going to pick. And go first, Ben.
Oh, I mean, I think it's probably the easiest way at this point in time. I think it's Spencer Lee till proven otherwise. I don't really see how you could pick anybody else right now.
There is a man who beat him, named Nick Piccinini, who exists, but I think it's been mostly lopsided for Spencer throughout their rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
It's Mueller, it's Pitch, and Spencer, and I don't see many others entering that conversation. I think it's Spencer over Pitch. Daniel.
Are we picking finalists too?
I am. You don't have to. I'm just gonna.
Hey, Ben yelled at us last show, and I agreed about him first. Can we define an established order? Because we didn't do it for Mateo Pelicone.
I like that. Okay. Ben, me, Nomad, Bracky, Bray.
There you go.
All right, go.
Okay. Spencer's obvious pick. For me, it's just a question of who he faces in the finals, and I'm very curious to see Jack Mueller, Pat Glory.
Yeah, Mueller or Glory. I forgot.
I think Glory can beat Mueller, but senior year, I think Jack's gonna go out as high as he can. I don't think he's gonna let a sophomore beat him. So really like those guys. Really interested in how that semifinal goes, but I'm gonna go Spencer over Mueller once again.
Steve.
You picked?
Yes.
Oh, Spencer Lee.
Okay.
Over.
Bray.
Over. Yeah, Mueller beats Pitch.
I got Spencer Lee. It's pretty simple. I think I don't know. I like how Pat Glory's looked this year. His win over Pitch was really impressive. So I'll go Spencer Lee over Pat Glory.
Now, is there a bigger drop off in a weight than the 4-5 to the rest of the country? Spencer Lee, Jack Mueller, Pat Glory, Nick Piccinini, your first four. Here's your next four: Brandon Paetzel, Devin Schroeder, Michael D'Agostino, Brandon Courtney. My gracious.
I mean, the other thing I'll say that is Brock Hudkins. I think he was going to win that match against Pat Glory. So maybe the answer is no, because if you would have said before that match, do I think Hudkins can win? I would have said no. And then while I was watching the match, after match, I'm like, damn, he really almost won that match. If he had not hurt his knee, I give his chances very good of winning that match.
I completely agree. I think that's a fact, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 133 pounds. I think there was a wide consensus coming into this this year, and I believe with Seth, I think things have maybe changed in the minds of some people. Ben, why don't you go first? Who do you see winning this weight?
I am still picking Seth Gross. The finalist thing is kind of fascinating to me because, as we talked about, you could see a Tucker going undefeated and moving up to a number 2. So then who is 2, 3, 4, 5? I think that's interesting because I think this is a weight where there's not a lot of drop off, where a lot of guys could beat a lot of other guys. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Chaz Tucker's a 2 seed at Nationals. I think DeSanto's a 3. I think Seabass and Bravo Young are 4, 5. So it's Gross over DeSanto in the finals.
And the crazy thing is Big Ten's can completely turn this on its head because we have so many of those guys are at this weight, including the top 3 of Gross, DeSanto, Rivera. But I'm sticking with Seth. He was my pick coming into the year. I definitely got nervous when he lost the way he lost to DeSanto. Though he got it done at Midlands, a lot of the replicability of his win over Rivera is hard for me to wrap my head around because, I mean, you're not going to hit many lateral drops from bottom. But at the same time, how much do you just say, and I don't really like using this for justification for a pick, but like the guy's a winner. He just figures out ways to win matches. And that was just an example of how he had to win that match. But next time around, is that collar and ankle going to be as available to Rivera as it was this time? Do you see that being an evolution for Seth maybe, Ben?
Do I? Yeah, I mean, I think he's a really smart guy, so I think he takes in evidence and processes it really well. Some guys can change match within the match. Some guys can change match to match, and I think you saw Spencer make adjustments for Austin Santo. What was that? 3 weeks later. I mean, he does make adjustments really well.
Yes. So for me, the finalist, I'm gonna say DeSanto, but I'm not sure how confident you can be with as good as all these guys have been. But I think he's been so good this year. I think he's really improved. So I'm gonna say Gross over DeSanto. But man, the seeding's gonna be super important here, and having a good Big Ten performance is gonna go a long way, especially with someone like Chaz Tucker, who knows where he's gonna wind up falling, because I think we all believe he's gonna be undefeated going into NCAAs. Although these things have a way of working themselves out. I feel like there was a guy like this last year. We're like, this dude's going to be undefeated going into it, because you're like, there's no one coming up, but they just have a way of dropping matches and things happen, right? So, extending the undefeated thing for Tucker may be a little foolish, but
I don't know. It's not a good schedule. I'm not sure. Like, the only ranked person in the EIWA, I believe, is Nick Farrow.
Oh my gracious.
There's a kid from Bucknell or something that's ranked, I believe.
Really?
Let me pull the rankings up. Let me confirm this with you. 133 pounds.
I don't see it.
Zach Tramp, Binghamton. Zach Tramp, ranked 11.
Where?
You know him?
Are you looking at the EIWA rankings?
Yeah.
Wait, everyone's ranked in the EIWA rankings. What are you talking about?
No, Zach Tramp. He's good, right?
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not ranked 11th in like the national rankings.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, Daniel Roy.
So,
oh boy,
I would say
this is eating at him, Ben. That was a gasp of pain, sigh of pain.
I would say this, if we're doing the confidence picks where you got like ranker picks 1 through 10, I would say this is the one where I'm least confident in. And full disclosure, I was at Northwestern this weekend, so I'm looking at it through purple-colored glasses. But I really do believe in this guy. I picked him to win Midlands. Yeah. Obviously, he lost the match to Gross.
Did Bono party on you like he said he was going to?
No,
he had an audacious celebration planned for when Gross beat Rivera.
Bono said he was going to party on me. I went up to him afterwards. I said, "Go ahead, here's your opportunity." He said, "No, I'm too classy for that." So he just likes ribbing me. I think this will be the most entertaining way. I think this will be the best way at NCAAs, at least as far as semis on are concerned. I am going to pick Sebastian Rivera. I do think he can beat Seth Gross. I think he can beat Austin DeSanto. My concern, obviously, is that he's out a little bit right now, and so, how's his health going to be at the end of the year? But if he's healthy, I think he's the best guy. I think he gets it done. I think Gross is the smartest guy and the one that makes the most adjustments. I think Ben was getting into that a little bit. So I'm going to go Rivera over Gross in the final. My main concern with Seth Gross is trying to balance holding that weight for Olympic trials and also winning a national title and being the team leader for Wisconsin, trying to get them through a trophy. And I think that's a lot. So I'm going to go Rivera over Gross, but I don't. That's the one, like I said, I'm least confident about.
I picked Seth Gross to start the year. I'm not going to change, but I do not feel as confident in it as I did, especially after watching that Rivera match at Midlands. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like – I think we all thought we were just going to see the same guy we saw in Cleveland dominating, and it just hasn't been that dominant. It feels like the field is much closer, but I am going to stick with Seth Gross because other than the match in Carver, he's finding a way to win.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen enough to really change, but Nomad was quick to jump off the Seth Gross bandwagon. All right, David Bray.
So, Christian, you alluded to this about Seth Gross, but this year he just has had to win different ways than he has in the past. And so I hear what you're saying too, Bracky, about not quite as confident, but I just think the number of ways that Gross has had to find to win matches still has me leaning Seth Gross. So I've got Gross. I do think DeSanto makes the finals. I think we'll see that. But I can't wait for that RBY DeSanto match coming up next weekend. And
oh my gosh,
that could set the stage for a totally wild Big Tens.
Ben, are you pumped for Iowa Penn State?
I'm so pumped. Yes, it's going to be fantastic.
I cannot wait. I can't wait.
I've only been to one duel in Carver Hawk. I went to Iowa State in maybe 2008 or 9. It was a really good duel meet. And that's the only duel I've ever been in Carver Hawkeye. So I'm excited for another one.
That was a great duel. Okay.
Yeah.
That era, the late Kale era at Iowa was really Iowa State. Super good duels. Okay, 141 pounds. This is going to be interesting. All right, let's just kick it to Ben. Ben, who do you like at 141?
Well, so I actually interviewed Luke Pletcher for my Rudis Wrestling podcast. I believe that's coming out sometime today. And you guys, I didn't realize till him and I started chatting, he wrestles like every top-ranked guy in like the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
So he just wrestled Moran. He wrestles Murin. He wrestles Nick Lee. He wrestles McKee. He wrestles Chad Red, all within like the span of 3 weeks.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty freaking wild that he's got all those guys in such a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So he is looking so good. So I'm going to go Luke Pletcher in the finals over a homer pick that you guys are yelling before. Tristan Moran. Moran's beat McKee, beat Nick Lee, beat Chad Red, and I think he's wrestling really well right now. So Pletcher over Tristan Moran in the NCAA finals.
Oh, my gracious. Okay. There is really no argument that Luke Pletcher has been the best 141-pounder this year. And you mentioned some of those names. He's already beaten. I mean, he smashed Mitch McKee and Chad Red already this year at CKLV.
Yep.
I believe he's going to beat Murin handily this week. I picked Nick Lee coming into the year, and I think partially there's no doubt that Luke has been unbelievably impressive, but Nick has not had a lot of opportunities at all through no fault of his own. And I think he's getting it's not his fault that he doesn't pick the schedule or his opponents. Factually.
Well, he could have just showed up at like the Southern Scuffle or something. If you
well, you know where he did show up was Senior Nationals, and he looked absolutely outstanding. And I believe he qualified for the Olympic trials.
He did.
So he tested himself against the best in our country, right? And he looked really good. And he beat a lot of really good dudes there. So for that reason, I have not seen enough to make me say I'm abandoning this Nick Lee pick and I'm sticking with it. I'm going to do a similar thing at another weight class, but I'm sticking with Nick Lee. I think this is crazy close. I think actually he doesn't match up great against this version of Luke Pletcher, who is so positionally good, who is so – I think he may have a harder time getting to his legs. I think Nick could play right into Luke's reattack stuff where I think he's really good. It's not a great matchup for Nick Lee. I acknowledge all of that. But I'm sticking with Nick Lee. I still think he's on the level. I think this is a coin flip match, and for that reason, I'm sticking with the Nittany Lion.
So to start this, I think a lot about Ohio State, and I think there are a lot of people online who had a very negative reaction to Miles not winning last year and Colin Moore like being a top seed not winning, and I don't think that has anything to do with Ohio State. I think just sometimes things happen at the NCAA tournament. They don't go your way. So I think this is where Luke gets Ohio State back on track, so to speak. I don't think they were off track at all. And he gets it done. I agree with Christian that he looked tremendously good at Senior Nationals, right? He beat Jaden Ironman and Frank Molinaro, which that should be enough for anybody to pick him over Luke Pletcher. However, Pletcher was the best. If you look at the composition of this weight, he was the highest ranked guy on the big board coming in terms of over the various high school careers of these guys. And he's up at a good weight. He's attacking harder than ever. To his strength of schedule, if you use Seton Hall Pirates Dual Impact Index thing, Luke Pletcher, 29 strength of schedule, Nick Lee, 9. So 20%, 20 points higher, whatever that means. Tremendously more battle-tested this year, tremendously more offensive. Luke Pletcher over Nick Lee in what may end up being the match of the night at NCAAs.
It could be like a classic match.
Yeah.
It could be. Yes, I think that's a good call there for sure. It's going to be a great match. Because both those guys, I mean, right now, the thing with Luke was he didn't attack enough. The guy just attacks so consistently right now.
Yes.
But he has had some close ones. This has not been a path of destruction all the way through. Real Woods was in on a single leg to finish and win the match at the Cavelli Center, right? That happened. So, and Real Woods he could be a factor here as well. So while he has had some incredibly impressive moments, I think it can't be ignored that he's had some close matches too. Steve,
you're right. You're right about the close matches, but in Pletcher's defense, the most points Woods has given up all year is 3.
Goodness gracious.
He did that. Pletcher 3-1 in sudden victory, and then he majored Evan Cheek 12-3. But getting back to Luke Pletcher, I believe I had Nick Lee over Dom Demas to start the year. So I guess sound the alarms that I am changing my pick to Luke Pletcher because he has looked incredible this year. And as you were talking about the matchup, I like Luke in that matchup.
And then another thing, I mentioned this, I think Luke can scramble. I mean, Nick Lee's a pretty good scrambler. He's not like the best. He's not like Yanni level guy for this weight class, but he can scramble. I think Luke will have a scrambling advantage here as well. David.
Man, I'm looking at the way our rankings would set up a bracket. Obviously, we got a lot of season left, and the way our rankings look is not going to be the way they look at the end of the year, but I'm looking at a number 6 Chad Red and a number 3 Max Murin and a number 2 Nick Lee. And I see Chad Red taking out Murin and then a classic rematch, Nick Lee, Chad Red. And I got Chad Red coming out on top of that match, making a surprise run of the finals.
Oh, my gosh.
Luke Pletcher takes out Chad Red in the finals for another classic rematch.
Dang.
Wow.
Who's number 1 rematch in the NCAA finals?
You love to see it.
In terms of like quarterfinals on and like blood round and all that, like all the real important matches, so to speak, this weight seems like it's the most matchup dependent. Mm-hmm. Right? Where this guy beat that guy, this guy beat that guy. And so the seeds and kind of how the bracket falls will certainly have a pretty big impact, maybe bigger than every other weight in terms of how the 1 through 8 plays out.
I actually don't see it that way.
Really?
I think those two are the class of the weight, and I don't see.
You don't think like 3 through 8 could be, like Murin Moran, Murin Red, those matchups?
I mean,
Moran's beating Nick Lee.
I'm talking about the whole of the All-Americans, not just the top guys.
Yeah. Well, okay, got it. I could see that certainly, but yeah, I know those guys have beaten Nick Lee, and Nick Lee's had losses, but I just think right now those two are the class, and those two the 3 through 8 will have some. It will be matchup dependent, but I think those two are just head and shoulders. That's just my read. All right.
Wow.
Big shampoo guy.
Big shampoo. Wait, oh yeah, head and shoulders. Yes. Rinse and repeat. Let's go to 149. This is a toughie. I have Nomad's just shaking his head no. I don't know if that means move on or
it means if don't gamble on this.
Don't gamble. Or gamble on this. Someone will be a favorite at this weight class. You should bet against whoever that person is. So 149 pounds.
Disaster.
I will read the disaster, says Ben Askren. Pat Lugo, Austin O'Connor, Bulu Allen, Brayton Lee, Brock Mahler, Sammy Sasso, Jarrett Deggan. Okay, I'll stop there. I'll say Mike D'Angelo or Joe Dubuque yell at me. All right, here we go. Start there.
Okay.
Ben,
what are you
going to do?
This weight is a disaster. I mean, it really, like, I could take any one of these guys that are in the top 8 and see them not placing. There's not one guy where I'm like, this guy is guaranteed, lock him in, he's for sure. There's not one guy on that list.
No.
And so it's a crapshoot in my opinion. I'm going to go Sammy Sasso over Brock Mahler, and that's probably just because of my preference to watch those guys because I enjoy watching both of them. Obviously, they're highly skilled, but they're far from bulletproof.
Absolutely true. For me, one guy that I'm having a hard time factoring in how he fits at this weight is Bulu Allen. I watched him beat Brayton Lee, who won Vegas, who dominated Sammy Sasso. But I watched him beat Andrew Ramirez. He looked really good. But I just am still not quite sure where he fits in this weight. Now, he'll get to wrestle Lugo at some point. He'll go to Big 12s. My preseason pick was Sammy Sasso, and I said I've not really seen enough to really say, all right, I'm ready to just jump off that. And it's kind of funny. The guy's 6. He's got random losses. He's a freshman. There's all this stuff that says random. There's all this stuff that says he should not be the pick for 149. But I'm sticking with it. I watched him beat Pat Lugo last year. They're gonna wrestle Friday. Yep. Heck yes. And I'll be ready. If he loses to Lugo, I mean, it's a Carver Hawkeye. If he loses to Lugo, maybe I'll just jump off it then. And maybe that should be the pick anyways. But I'm going Sasso over Lou Allen in the finals. And I don't feel good about any of it, but here I am. A broken man before you. Daniel Roy.
I hate you, and I wish I had gone before you, because that's my exact pick.
Wow.
I'm not as down on Pat Lugo as I think some people are. I guess I am down on him in the sense that I don't think right now I don't see him meeting his number one ranking. I could certainly see him getting third though, and I think his offense and his efficiency has certainly improved. Austin O'Connor, I didn't like that he missed the preseason, and if he can increase his offense a little bit, I think it's just hard to kind of miss the preseason and come back. And then Brayton, as you said, that match with Boo where he showed some bottom deficiencies really kind of sticks in my head. Yeah. I've also been reverse jinxing Boo Llewellyn all year.
Now you're undoing it though. If you pick
because I'm picking Sasso over Boo in the finals.
That's
so. And there's certainly a lot of reasons not to pick Sasso in the terms that he lost the match to Moore, he lost the match to Brayton. But I came in this year picking Sammy Sasso, and it has less to do with things that I see during the regular season and kind of the type of wrestler that I see him at the end of the year. So I'm gonna go Sasso over Brayton for first, and I'm even gonna go one down. Or excuse me, Sasso over Boo for first. I'm even gonna go one down and say Lugo over O'Connor for third.
Man. I feel like these are just going to look so stupid. And
they're all going to look stupid.
They're going to look so bad.
Probably.
Especially since we don't have like a wide. We're all picking Sasso. Oh, my gosh. All right, Kyle. He's going to pick Sasso.
I mean, he was my preseason pick.
I know.
And Pat Lugo hasn't just jumped off the screen at me and been like, yo, you should change this. You know who? But the person that does make me want to change it's Boo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And maybe because we watched him beat Aliras this morning.
Like literally this morning. We're like, hey, let's watch this match.
You know what? I'm going to change it. I'm changing it. Boo over Pat Lugo in the NCAA finals.
Whoa.
I like it.
How does the match go in February?
Visualize.
Does it flip or does Boo win both?
Boo wins both.
Okay.
In Carver.
Yeah. Wire to wire undefeated season. Boo.
Not to name drop, but Anthony Ashnault was here yesterday. We were chatting it up. Talking Carver, he's like, man, that place. He's like, it just there's something about it just sucks it out of you. He's like, it happened to me both times. I was like, who'd you wrestle the first time? He's like, Topher Carton. He's like, I was up 8-0, I won 8-6. Like he's like, it just does something to you. He barely beat Lugo there.
Overtime, yeah.
Yeah, crazy match. So okay, he's got Boo, David Bray.
All right, yeah, I am gonna take Boo Llewellyn as well.
Wow,
the way that he looked against Brayton Lee in that dual meet was super impressive. I think that we didn't get, I think we would be maybe all more likely to pick him if we had seen him at Southern Scuffle, but he had the skin thing, so we didn't get to see him. But he's looked so good this year. That win over Aliras, I think initially it was like, oh, maybe Aliras isn't where we think he is, but I think in the end we're going to say, no, Boo Llewellyn is that good. I have him over Brayton Lee in the finals. Brayton Lee navigated CKLV, super tough tournament. He won matches a lot of different ways, was clutch in the end. So I got Brayton Lee, and I'll take O'Connor for third. I think O'Connor's super, super good. He's going to lose a really tight semi, and he'll come back for third.
Yes, I think O'Connor's definitely, how much of his loss do you say to Lugo? Do you say, well, this is a guy, his first real competition back, and he just didn't have it that day. He's got a really high bonus rate. You talk about his offense, but he's got 10 bonus point wins of his 15 for the year. So he's been tough this season. So there's so many guys in the mix here. It's gonna look silly, and I might look silly here as we go to 157 pounds. Let's start with the funky one.
Look silly. I feel like this one's an easy one. I feel like unless some type of falling apart happens, I think it's Deacon over Hidlay. Deacon's looked just totally fantastic this year, whether it was over Hidlay, over Carr, over Kendall Coleman. I'm on the Deacon train. I last year I couldn't figure out how he did so poorly at the end of the year, and I think he's he's figuring himself out as he gets older, and he's not going to have that same drop off that he had last year. So I got Ryan Deacon. I think he's looked outstanding, and I think it's a fairly easy pick. So now that you said that, I'm curious to hear what you're going to pick.
I'm sticking with Hayden Hidlay. I picked him to win preseason. I think I've seen these swings with Deacon before, and I just don't. I think we've seen it for a couple years with him. And as great as he looked, this is the one I alluded to this with 141, Ben, that this is a little Pletcher-ish where, like, there's no doubt that Deacon has been the best guy all year long.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually less debatable at this weight than it is at 141. At 141, you can say, well, Nick Lee hasn't got the opportunity. Hayden had the opportunity, and he kind of got he got beat up a little bit. But I just think when it comes time, I think Hayden will be well prepared. I think he can do some things that can slow down Deacon as well. And I'm just also sort of predicting some sort of regression from Deacon, because I just remember last year at Vegas, I said this guy can go with Nolf, and then next thing I know, he's losing to Caleb Young twice at NCAAs, and he had a rough Big Tens as well.
Good.
So I think, I mean, this kid made Final X. He's a unreal talent.
Yeah.
I think
He beat freaking James Green.
he beat James Green.
Think about that.
I'll say this. I think Deacon's good enough to win 65 in my estimation. I think he's that good. I think he could go with a Chinzo. I think he could go with a Marinelli. I think he's that special. But I just see Hidley figuring it out, getting it done. He's been kind of close twice. You know, he lost in the finals as a freshman, where he was undefeated going into NCAAs. And then he ran into Jason Nolf, and then he almost had Nolf beat last year. Really put together a great match. And I think that idea with Hayden is like, all right, I'm focusing on this guy. This is the guy I have to beat. You saw what happened when that guy was Jason Nolf. He was a whisker away from taking him down at the end of that match. Not even throw out the controversial takedown. Throw that out completely. He almost had it at the end there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I just have a really high opinion of Hayden, and you know what? Deacon is superstar, and both these guys are look like action figures, and it's going to be a great match.
Action figures.
But and really, you know, I love David Carr, and I think Caleb Young's really good, but I think I view this similarly. Like, these two are removed from the field, and Ben, I don't know what you think, but like we've seen it kind of routinely. Like, every year there's guys that just look like the clear best guys all year long, and they just don't win sometimes, and it's just so hard. How hard is it just to sustain that all year long?
I think a lot of it is, and you guys kind of alluded to it at 41, but some guys can't wrestle everywhere. So they are the best guy, but then if they have that one matchup that's really hard for them, the NCAA tournament, generally speaking, unless you're far removed from the field, which isn't that many people every year, you're going to have a really tough guy in the quarters, semis, and finals. I mean, that's just how it is. And if one of those guys is a bad matchup for you, that can totally derail you. So I think, that's something that Deacon can kind of wrestle everywhere. That's why, I feel comfortable there. And I can't remember who else we were talking about that wrestles everywhere. Was it Pletcher, maybe? Someone else like that.
He's wrestled a lot of people, yeah. He's hit a lot of the highly ranked guys. Well, no, I wasn't being a smart aleck. I was saying he's definitely hit a lot of dudes this year.
There's some guys like a DeSanto who still, as good as he is, and he's really, really good, who still have that 1 week, he still gets written out by number 14 guy. Yeah. Right? You have guys like that. And so if, one of those guys, you could literally see him beating anybody, but you could also see him taking a strange loss. And we have guys like that, obviously.
What was the thing for you? Not that you really lost like hardly ever, but like, what was the thing? If a guy does this was like your thing that was like made things a little more difficult.
No, your name was Chris Pendleton.
Yeah, that was about it.
That was it. Yeah.
Just the one guy. That's nice.
Effing Chris Pendleton. I hope he spills his coffee this morning.
Man, are y'all what do y'all talk? Are y'all cool, Pendleton and Askren?
Yeah, I think we're cool. I think
you're both really you're two really nice, good dudes. It seems like y'all should be like friends. If you weren't.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be too far. I don't know if we're friends, but I worked out as a Heat at the U.S. Open last year, and me and Chris chatted for a little bit. So I think we're in a mutual place where we kind of like each other, but we're not friends. I wouldn't say.
Okay, so
is that fair?
Got it. Not friends officially. What about Facebook friends? Would you confirm or would you ignore that, or would you leave it in purgatory?
That's a funny question. I don't know. Did Nick Nomad pick somebody already?
Did you wish him a happy birthday the other day?
I did not. I didn't know it was his birthday.
Yeah, me either, actually. Hand up there.
You didn't get the notification on your computer?
No, just Richard Emmels. I guess I'm not Facebook friends with Chris Pendleton. All right, go ahead, Nomad.
So 57 is interesting because I do agree with there is a little separation from the field, as much as there can be with tremendously talented guys like Carr, Young, Monday, Coleman. I think a guy like Carr, his run's going to come when he moves up to 165, which I think will come as soon as next year. So we're looking at Deacon versus Hidley. And again, I was in Northwestern this weekend, and his whatever inconsistencies, whatever you want to call it, are even more confusing because this isn't a guy who like lives his life in a way that makes you go, okay, well, of course there's going to be some variance in his results. Like he's not doing the right things. Like no, this guy is the leader of the program. He's the model of consistency, and it's the same way for Hayden Hidley, right? These are the two faces of their program, and so one of these guys is going to have to live up to the pressure on them, whether it's from external from the program or from within themselves. And Christian picking Hidley over Deacon. Look, Hidley beat Deacon in NCAAs. He beat him for a U23 World Team spot. So the evidence is certainly there that Hayden can win. I'm thinking they're going to meet in the finals the next 2 years, and they're going to split. I'm going to go Deacon this year, maybe Hidley next year.
Only Nomad.
Lock him in for 2021.
All right.
Yeah.
Nomad getting those 2021 picks.
Yeah.
Cancel the wait.
So I would say this one will be the second best match of the night behind Pletcher Lee. I'm gonna go Deacon, but these are the two guys. These are the two kind of guys you want to be the face of the program. So good job on 57 coaches.
Big face of the program guy.
Good job, NC State Northwestern. I picked Hayden Hidley at the beginning of the year, and CP pretty much summed up why I'm sticking with it. I worry about Deacon as we get later into the season. I don't worry about Hayden. He obviously wrestles better in March. He's able to find another level and take it there. And their matches they're 1-1. It was all Hayden at NCAAs last year and all Deacon this year at CKLV.
Yeah.
But I trust Hayden later in the year.
We trust Hayden Hidley. Okay, David Bray.
Yeah, I think this is the finals matchup for sure, Deacon and Hidley. And I think these guys have maybe one of the more underrated rivalries. Going back to the U23 trials, the thing that's crazy about this rivalry is how different the matches have looked. That U23 trials went to 3 matches, and in those 3 matches, I think Hidley won the first one like 8-4. Deacon teched Hidley in the second match, and then Hidley needed like a last-second takedown in the third match to win. So we've seen kind of 2 different matches, and then 2 different kinds of matches in freestyle, and then in folk style. Bracky mentioned last year at NCAAs, it was all Hidley 6-2 or 8-2, and then 6-2 for Deacon this time. I just don't know what's going to happen in this match, but I like Deacon. I'm going to stick with the hot hand, so I'm going Deacon over Hidley.
Okay, 165.
Yes.
Yes, a yes from Ben Askren. All right,
I love this weight class. 165. I feel like this is another one where there's I would say it's at number 7. It was Shane Griffith. And it's going to be interesting to see how Shane Griffith and Real Woods play in his brackets, but I think there's a drop-off after him. I'm gonna make a biased pick, and that's fine. Oh, boy.
I knew it was coming.
So, you knew it. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to hide my bias. It's whatever. I'm going to pick Vincenzo Joseph over Alex Marinelli in Carver Hawkeye in 2 weeks for the first time. He's going to do it again at Big Tens, and then Vincenzo Joseph will beat Evan Wick in the NCAA Finals.
They're finally going to wrestle?
They're finally going to wrestle.
Yes. Okay. Well, I thought your homer pick. I thought you were about to put Connor Flynn in the finals.
Oh, no. If I did a real homer pick, it would have been Peyton Mako. But he's got a little ways to go still.
I'm on the Chinzo. I think he gets it done. I'm pretty sure it's who I picked preseason. That's what I've been telling Caleb at least all year when he's asking me who's going to win 65. Obviously the matchup has not been favorable for Vincenzo Joseph against Alex Marinelli, and that's the matchup that has been discussed. But I have a hard time just saying, oh, he can't beat Marinelli. Marinelli is just a bad matchup. I can't think of someone as good as Vincenzo Joseph not able to at some point figure this out. Do you really think he's never going to beat Alex Marinelli? I really don't see it that way. I think he'll be able to get it. I think there are some things that really prevent Vincenzo from being able to get to his single leg against Marinelli. But I just see him figuring something out this time. I don't know if I'm going to go down that road for Carver Hawkeye. I think that may be a bridge too far for me. But
who are you picking in 2 weeks right now? Gun to your head. Who are you picking in Carver Hawkeye? It's going to happen. January 31st.
I'll go.
Pick someone. Gun to your head.
I'll go Bull for that one.
Ooh.
But I just think come NCAAs, Chinzo has been, you could say Chinzo lost last year. Yes, that's true. But look at Marinelli's NCAAs, right? Undefeated going into Big Tens 2 years ago. It goes 6, and then I think he triple dipped his freshman year, and then last year he gets 7th. So sustaining it, he's kind of one of those guys who are sustaining it throughout the season. Now I think it's a freshman sophomore season thing, but I think Vincenzo and Marinelli are definitely the class of this weight. But I've got Vincenzo over Bull. At some point, they're going to hit probably 3 times. I don't see anything stopping that, not even Evan Wick. So I see it that way, and I think come NCAAs, Chinzo goes out on top.
So,
oh my gosh, with the dramatic sighs every time.
I know. This is important stuff.
You're right.
I hear what you're saying, but Marinelli is a bad matchup for Vincenzo Joseph. I have watched those matches a whole bunch, and as strange as it is, a guy who's like 2-time NCAA champ and 3-time finalist, like he is just a bad matchup for him. And I am taking the Bull at Big Tens, and I am taking the Bull at in Carver Hawkeye in a little bit. However, Vincenzo Joseph is one of the most underrated. He's going to be one of the most underrated wrestlers, like literally of all time. He has 62 career NCAA points and is going to, if I have him winning, he's going to end up with 80-something. He's going to be like a top 25 all-time NCAA point scorer, four-time finalist, 2 or 3-time champ.
So you get past Ben?
Will he pass Ben Askren?
No, it definitely doesn't pin enough people.
Yeah, he would have to score. He would have to score 27 points this year. 27 and a half points.
He's in striking distance, Ben.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it.
I think that's gonna be the motivation he needs. The idea of passing Ben Askren. It's gonna fuel him to just start pinning people like crazy.
Yeah.
So you have Chinzo over Bull.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's 4 pins, guys. That's 4 pins. He ain't doing it.
So while that may be tremendously disrespectful to the Bull, as I've said, I really do think he is a terrible matchup for Chinzo. I think Chinzo gets lost in the shuffle of all the guys that Penn State has had, but he's absolutely incredible, and I don't know how he's going to get it done, but I didn't know how he was going to get it done against Aymar either. So Chinzo over Bull.
One thing that
Sorry, Alex.
Caleb always tells me, he's like, he gets 4-point near fall on him every time because he's trying to explain to me why he thinks Marinelli's going to win. I'm like, that is true.
Well, Nomad just did what I was going to do. Pick the Bull in Carver because he has never lost there, and Marinelli at Big Tens as well, and then Chinzo at NCAAs.
Whoa, the Bull Chinzo.
Whoa.
So,
Man, that's a wild ride for me.
Also, the 7th is a little because just that draw was absolutely insane.
I don't
like you. It's like there's a lot of times where you look at a 7th because it's 2 losses, and it ends up being the same as like a 4th or a 5th.
I get what you're
just
saying,
because of who
but
they lost to.
the dude was undefeated all year.
I know.
Yeah. Lost to Mackay and Chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say he should have been beaten. I think the Chance one is the one for me. But it's okay. Happens. Now, Bray.
Man, give me Marinelli. Nobody's taking Marinelli.
That is kind of crazy.
I think Marinelli's going to win this thing. I think he has had really solid regular seasons, obviously, the last 2 years. His freshman year, then he kind of fell apart. But not fell apart, but, semi-slide both Big Tens and Nationals. And then last year got it done at Big Tens. Lost a couple matches at NCAAs. I think this year he completes that progression. He gets it done. He wins the whole thing.
Cool. All right, that's going to be a fun one. Holy cow, these NCAA finals are going to be insane. And probably none of them, we're probably getting none of them right, which is the best
How
part.
many people will be in the U.S. Bank Stadium? 60,000? 65?
A billion.
A billion says Nomad. I think, yeah. Can they get? They got like 48
70,
at
right?
Kinnick or something. How many did Kinnick
They
have?
had a lot more than that.
Yeah, more than they couldn't
Yeah.
count. They couldn't count
They
that.
can't count that high in
I
Iowa.
think people snuck in. I think people
Yeah.
snuck in at who's number one too. I think it was they may have a security issue of some kind because there were a lot of people at that football stadium. I don't know, 50? Could they get 50 for the
I
finals?
thought they were already at like 45 all season, all pass tickets or all session tickets.
Okay.
Aren't they?
So then, yeah, maybe 50. I don't know. I haven't seen the I don't get the ticket reports or anything.
Well, I feel like Minneapolis is a big city. There's a whole bunch that might just show up just for the finals, don't you think?
That's possible.
Or no?
How far the drive is Iowa City to Minneapolis? It's kind of
Not all that far. Google it.
I'm gonna do a nomad thing. Give an exact number: 62,378.
Whoa.
Okay, 62,378. All right, we'll see if we'll see.
I love when Nomad does that because it's so unreasonable.
Yeah,
It's so ridiculous.
It makes no sense. 4.5 hours. Oh yeah, Iowa will be in attendance. Okay, so yeah, maybe they hit 50 or 60. That would be sick. 174 pounds. Give us your thoughts. This is your weight class, Ben.
Do you remember the old Iowa guy that used to dress in all black and yellow stripes? And he would say, "Give me an I.
No.
Give me an O." You don't remember this guy? I think
Was he at overalls?
Yes, I believe so. And he was there a whole bunch of years in a row, and then when they started not winning, he stopped showing up. So part of me thinks this guy is going to, in fact, make a comeback to U.S. Bank Stadium. There'll be a large contingent of Iowa crowds, and he's going to go. It would be every session, 6 sessions in a row. Give me an I, and and then you go on with it.
Is he gonna stand on a chair with a bandana?
Yeah, maybe he'll stand on a chair.
I don't believe he was on a chair, but I think maybe he listened to our suggestion. He'll be more effective on a chair, and I think he will be wearing the bandana for sure.
All right, Iowa listeners, let us know who that guy is and if he'll be back.
Yeah,
we hope he is.
Please tell us who that guy is. He
Or
was
maybe
almost
they
as
can
good as
Go ahead.
Robin Ficker.
That's what I was about to say.
You were going to the same place as I was going.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
If Ficker
Oh, my
was a
goodness.
Hawkeye fan, it would be out of control. That would be insane. That'd be too much.
Never forget the year he had the whole arena chanting headlock Shep talk.
The entire
finals.
Oh my God.
arena chanted headlock Shep talk. While Ed Ruth pieced him up. Oh man. We'll always
was
have
awesome.
headlock Shep talk. Yes. All right,
Oh,
100 said the Ben Askren weight. Who you got?
Woo. I think it's Mark Hall.
Yes.
And then against him, man, I could see a long ways down going against him. I mean, to me, it's like obviously Cutler and Kemmer are the best two beyond that. But hey, if Labriola beat Kemmer, I'm not all that shocked. So beyond that, kind of sketchy. I'll go with Michael Kemmer, but I'm not all that confident in that pick.
I feel similarly. I definitely think Mark Hall. That is not difficult. I do think finalist is very difficult to predict. I think Cutler is actually a super tough matchup for Kemmer because Cutler can really scramble. And on some of those attacks, I could see Kemmer having a hard time finishing. But I think I see a lot of shots, a lot of stalemates, and then Kemmer eventually breaking through. Maybe he gets Cutler tired, although we haven't really seen that that massive gas tank with Kemmer yet. But I think it'll be there come March. So that's a really close match. But Mark Hall's the class of it, and I think he wins a controlled decision over either guy that he faces.
Mark Hall, Coronation, 1-2-2-1. Call it Dale Burley. Beating Michael Kemmer in the finals. And then I think Mark Hall should go directly into coaching.
Okay. You just retired Mark Hall?
Whoa. What?
Yeah.
Well,
You're
that's not what
retired-
you. No, you're only saying that because Mark has kind of like alluded to that.
I think
You're
Mark Hall
retiring
would
the
be
man?
an absolutely incredible coach.
What
And
are you
I think
basing
he
that
would
on?
be I think he would be not only here's what and I've said this before on the show. I think he should start in high school, work his way up to college because I think all of the experiences that kid has had and all of the different styles he's learned how to wrestle and all the different people he's taken from and the way he loves wrestling, I think could have a tremendous impact on high school kids. And then when he gets a little older, I think he would be really able to open up a college program and have them doing some really different stuff. So I just think Mark Hall, of like all the guys in college right now, I see him probably having the best potential to just be a absolutely fantastic coach moving forward. And I know that I just retired Mark Hall. Not wrestling him in college, not wrestling him at senior level. However, I think he's going to be phenomenal. So I hope he just gets right into it.
Not only did you retire him, you relegated him to high school coaching instead of just taking a
not
D1 job,
relegated
which
him.
he will have plenty of offers if
No,
that's
I
what he
know.
decides to do.
I know. I just
Not only are you retiring him, you're telling
look.
him.
This is my This is my wish for Mark Hall. Mark Hall can do whatever the hell he wants.
Your wish for him is to not wrestle anymore and coach high school.
No, my wish for Mark Hall is to have the type of impact on a club or a high school that many other awesome coaches like Ben, like Paulson, like Stripmatter are having, because he can have that kind of impact where he sends just year after year after year 10, 15, 20 guys to Division I level.
Man. All right.
If it's good enough for an Olympic silver medalist,
No one's saying
Paul
that.
said-
Just let Mark do what he wants. If Mark
Of
wants
course,
to
I'm gonna let Mark do what he
great,
wants.
Don't make Mark
the whole
retire.
point of this is I
Don't
think
re-
Mark Hall could be a transcendently good coach.
Don't force him to retirement.
I'm not
At
forcing him to
22.
retire. It's just what I want for him.
How old is he? 22?
So, yeah, he's 22, 23 years old. I don't know.
All right, to get things back on track, give me Mark Hall over Michael Kimmer.
All right.
Jeez. Sorry, I think Mark
Anyway,
Hall's going to be an amazing
no.
coach.
I do not have
Okay.
a career planned out for Mark.
I think he should be a CPA. You know?
What if
I
he
think
leaves his shoes on the mat at US Bank Stadium in his hometown? No, man,
Yeah.
that's what you want, right? Shoes on the mat.
Yeah. That would be something if someone retired. I want someone to win a title as a freshman and then retire. I'm good.
I'm never going to get better than this.
This is it. All right, Bray.
I got Mark Hall over Cutler. I think Cutler gets it done in the semis. And not only should Mark Hall go into high school coaching, he should wear a polo shirt under his singlet like the coach in Vision Quest, and he should gauge his athletes' readiness to make weight by their performance on the pegboard.
Yes. That's how you know. He's a telecommunicator.
Mark is majoring in telecommunications. How do you see that factoring into his career?
Yeah.
He could, high school education is evolving, and so he could help students get into the telecommunications field, feeding him to his old teammate Jared Cortez, who works at AT&T.
Oh my gosh. Jared Cortez works at AT&T. All right.
Feeding them into that.
All right. We can't.
Oh,
184
this-
pounds.
You didn't think I was going to have an answer for that.
Well,
That's
you could
good
say
bad.
he's going to be a college coach, and because of telecommunications, he's going to be really good on the phones recruiting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he will be an amazing recruiter.
He's gonna have
Do you even know
Jared
Mark Hall?
Cortez.
How the hell do you even know this guy?
Look, man, I have watched Mark Hall since he was in 6th grade.
Okay, join the club.
These are the things that I see out of Mark Hall. If you guys disagree, you think he's going to be a bad coach, that's fine.
Nomad, you moonlight as a life coach?
Yeah,
Okay.
frequently.
Wait, did you guys see Tony Robbins in there with Conor McGregor? That could be you. You could be in there with Conor McGregor next.
Can I
Who
just say
knows?
I hate Conor McGregor, and I don't get the young kids' fascination with him.
Oh yeah.
Why
I
do you
do
hate
get
him?
it, but
Yeah,
I
you
don't
get
get
it.
it. He's the most
I don't know-
overrated fighter of all time.
What? I'm making statements today. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Who's
Fantastic.
That one I'm totally unqualified to make. Number one, obviously, because I'm
But wait,
not remotely
why do you
enough
hate
MMA
him?
fighter.
Why-
but
why-
also
why
because
do
I've
you
watched
hate him?
4 fights.
I wonder why you hate him.
I think he's just I think he is the phoniest front runner guy there is, and completely faked it till he made it.
Okay. That's a fair answer for sure.
I've been saying he should have. Connor should have went straight into coaching.
And Khabib beat the ever living piss out of him.
Wow, hard P bomb there. All right.
you know what I had to do? My club kids love Conor McGregor, but because of you idiots at FloWrestling and your Instagram account, I actually had to ban them from saying the word DeSanto, because anything I would say, they would just say DeSanto. So any question I would ask a question, DeSanto. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm asking for a wrestling move and you're telling me DeSanto. I had to ban the word DeSanto because of your guys'
Insanity.
FloWrestling Instagram page.
Man.
So yeah. Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
You're welcome.
You could be DeSanto. Stop. I think no man should be DeSanto's life coach.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm equipped for such a thing.
Yeah. All right. Everyone has to pick Zahid Valencia now. 184 pounds. Go ahead, Benjamin.
DeSanto.
He's got the Santo of Valencia.
Is it? Hey, are we stamping this one with next topic?
Is it
Yeah.
Zahid Valencia next topic?
Yes.
We haven't had a next topic yet. I think he's next topic. He had a 1-point match with Taylor Vins this year.
Next topic. Is it? What if Abe Assad headlocks him?
That is literally, I don't know if you probably never did this because you're a good coach, Ben, but, you you got a kid, you're like, he's got no shot. But he's got one shot, and it involves a headlock. It involves a desperation throw at some point. Have you ever given that advice to a guy when you know he's just going to get smoked? And you know he's going to get smoked.
Maybe not in the first period, but maybe in the third period.
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well go for it.
May as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's he beat?
I'll say, man.
I thought we were doing next topic. We can't talk anymore if we do next topic.
All right, if we go, that's a good point.
All right, fine.
That's a good point.
Next topic.
Whole point of the next topic is there's no other topics.
But it's the most interesting second there is.
Is it?
Yeah.
What? Hunter Bowling versus Lou Dupree is the most interesting second place?
Okay, fine. I think it's tremendously interesting 2 through 10. But all right, next topic.
It's been next topic. There's
Hunter
nothing...
Bowling, Trent Howley, Tara Lujan, Lou Dupree, Taylor Vans, Andrew Morgan, Nino Bonaccorsi, beside Aaron Brooks. Those are all really, really, really good wrestlers. One of them is going to get beaten by Zahid Valencia in the finals. I think that's interesting to talk about. We don't have to.
All right, buddy.
I think Zahid Valencia should go into wrestling after he's done.
Yes, I agree.
My man won Senior Nationals.
Colin
He
Moore.
won Mateo Pelicone.
Yeah.
Next topic.
We did that. No, 197
He's going
pounds.
to beat the Christians in the finals.
Let's go, Ben. Who you got
Ben
here?
Darmstadt. Ben Darmstadt over Colin Moore.
Ben Darmstadt.
What?
Oh, my gosh.
Go.
You love him
Let's
more
go.
than CP.
Dude, man, you're really testing my... I thought there was a few things I would always have established for my entire life, and one of them was I would be the #1 front runner for Ben Darmstadt on FRL. And then he goes to One Funky Fresh camp, and now I've been supplanted by you. Four-timer?
4 years in a row. Yeah.
This is why he lets
grade
everyone
9,
in
yeah.
on his legs. I have you to blame for the fact that everyone gets in on straight double legs before he starts wrestling.
I can't be responsible for that. I tell them it's a bad idea. I tell all of them every year.
Yeah,
Bad
but they
idea.
watch your highlight tapes. They're like, man, it's so great. Man, I kind of feel like I don't want to get. I feel like I'm getting called a chicken right now, but I'm going with Colin Moore. I think he's looked really good. He is not above a lapse for sure. I know he's been the best guy all year long. I think Darmstadt is a great matchup for Colin Moore. I think he pieces him up. I think that's not. I think if Darmstadt's gonna win, someone's got to do something crazy against Colin Moore because I do not think he matches up great. They actually wrestled in high school where Colin, I believe, beat him by a technical fall. They had to stop the match because he scored so many points.
He beat him at NCAA's when Ben started a few years ago too, 7-4.
7-4. So he narrowed the gap. But I just don't like the whole started at 84, up at 97. That whole what was that about? I don't. That was always silly to me.
Silly.
He did get hurt his last time out.
Yeah. So
I hope everything's okay, but we didn't see him last weekend.
dang it. All right. So I got more over Darmstadt. Although we got to talk about this guy Noah Adams.
Yes,
Noah,
we do.
Tell him about the man from Coal City.
The man from Coal City's on fire. He's 24-0. He just pinned Dakota Gear and then followed it up with a 7-1 win over Jacob Woodley, who he was 0-2 against previously. He's clearly made a jump.
Pin Nathan
Traxler. He's a really good scrambler. He's funky. And talking to Cody Walters this season, it seems like he's put it together mentally, and that was the biggest hurdle. He won a couple matches at NCAA's last year, but he's taken a jump to the next level.
He's currently ranked second in this great nation, and deservedly so. He's had a great showing. So I've got more over Darmstadt. You know, there's a lot of guys here, but I mean, Moore's been the class of it. Daniel Roy, what should Colin Moore do after he graduates? Don't answer that. Just talk about wrestling. Sorry.
More of a Brucky.
More over Brucky. All right.
I'm taking more over Adams. Adams is beating everyone they put out in front of him, and let's keep it rolling. Second finalist for West Virginia at 197 in like the past 3 years. It was Jared in 2018.
Oh, okay. I was like, no, buddy. I think you're thinking
from the
WVU.
state
I
of
know.
West Virginia.
I was like, huh?
Does West Virginia own 197?
I was like, does he think Greg
More-
Jones wrestled 3 years ago?
More at 11.
How close is Colin Moore? How close is Norwayne to inside the state is on?
I don't know where Norwayne is. Need to look that up.
No one knows where that is. All right, David.
I got more over Brucky, just like Nomad said, and that's going to be for me the second finalist Princeton's going to have, as I had Pat Glory in the finals as well. So I think Brucky makes finals, but Colin Moore's too good this year.
Yes. Okay. Heavyweight. Oh, boy. All right, this is another. I'll pose the question, Ben. Is this a next topic weight? Heavyweight. Gable Stevenson?
No. We haven't seen Gable. We haven't seen Gable versus Cassiope or Paris. It could be next topic, but until we see those ones, I'm not ready to call it next topic.
Okay.
It could be potentially.
So potential next topic. So we'll put a. We won't really know until like Big Tens, I guess.
We're not there yet. We're not at next topic yet.
Okay. Me personally, I'm kind of there, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm picking Gable. I think 2 through 5 are all really good. Paris, Cassiope, Stencil, Hilger.
He's putting Hilger.
I'm curious. I was thinking about doing it, but that would be 4 Badgers, and I know you guys would really be mad at me then. My bias would show.
I wouldn't be mad.
4 Badgers in the NCAA finals. Can you imagine? That would be fantastic. I want to see Paris versus Cassiope. I want to see Paris versus Stevenson. I know Mason Paris got a whole lot better last year, but I want to see what that looks like in folk style. His wins over Matt Stencil, multiple wins over him after splitting with him last year, are really, I don't want to say reassuring. So I'm going to go Stevenson over Mason Paris, but I think it could be Hilger. I think it could be Stencil. I think it could be Cassiope.
Yes, I agree. I think Gable wins. I think he's not tested throughout. I think Mason is a real wild card here. My prediction for Mason, I think it's Mason and Cassiope are the 2-3, and I'm not really putting anyone else in that category. Now, I think first time they wrestle, Cassiope, Paris, I see Paris getting reattacked and making some mistakes on some errant shots. I think it gets figured out by NCAAs. I like to err on the guy with the most offense. I don't think it's arguable that Mason has more offensive potential than Cassiope. There is a chance this is just a nightmare matchup for Paris, and that Cassiope will always be able to score on him and reattack him and just be so good positionally. I'm kind of woke on that being possible, but I think Mason figures it out by NCAAs and then loses to Gable.
Yeah, Gable Stevenson has the most impressive feat of any heavyweight I've ever seen. I can't get the Cassiope tech of Mason Paris out of my head from Fargo, even though that wasn't freestyle. I also, we've talked a lot about it being Iowa's year to, if this is the year, they're going to do it. So I'm going to take Stevenson over Cassiope, and I'm with Ben. Cassiope Paris, one of my most anticipated matchups of the year.
I'm not faulting your logic at all, but how crazy is it that we're using a freestyle result from Fargo several years ago, but not the fact that this dude smoked Junior Worlds?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
It's crazy. Like how domestic things can shape our over international. But Richie Lewis won Worlds and DNP'd the next year, so it happens sometimes. But
also, just like Cassiope, and again, Mason Paris has clearly jump levels and is way better than the match I'm talking about. Cassiope kind of always has been better in folk style than him. And partially because Mason was doing other sports, but I don't think Cassiope's going to blow Paris out. I don't think it's going to be like a next topic thing. Right now I see Cassiope over Paris.
Paris was like a 3-sport athlete, which is interesting. Ben, what's your take on once you're in high school doing multiple sports?
Every kid's got to decide what they want. There's no blanket statement there. If a kid, hey, Mason Paris at his size, I'm sure he's great at every single thing he does. And if he says, I want to be all-state football and all-state, who knows? You never know. He might hit the ball pretty far. So but even if a smaller kid says, well, this is what I choose to do, I want to be good at 3 sports, that's fine. Now, some kids, obviously, if you say, where I not pick on kids, where I push back on them is when they say, I want to do this, this, and this, but I want to be a Division I wrestler. And it's like, okay, but you got a long ways to go to be a Division I wrestler, so you need to put some more time in if that's what you want to do. Now, so your vision of what your future is going to be and what you're actually doing, those need to match up. If those don't match up, then that's when I got issues that push back with kids.
So I think you kind of answered it. If you're trying to be elite, you probably need to be specialized for the most part.
Well, some kids are already good enough, right? Some kids maybe put in a whole bunch of time before they're in 9th grade, and they're already really good, and maybe they don't need to. Especially at the upper weights, you can kind of get away with it. But we'll say 106 through 138. Usually that's not the case, but usually also a 106-pound kid, he probably isn't very good at football because he's 106 pounds, right?
that
that's
typically
fair.
limits how good you are at football. Except Kyle Brackey was a shutdown corner.
That's right. I was.
At what weight?
In junior high, I was about 85 pounds.
Laying the
I'm
lumber.
serious. I was starting corner, 85 pounds. But then when I got to high school, I was like, yeah, there's no need for a 100-pound corner on this team.
Yes.
There was a guy named Taiwan Young when I was playing corner who was about 230 pounds, like little Derrick Henry-ish.
You were a quarterback?
And I was like, yeah, we can't. This isn't gonna work out on a
I'm
sweep.
surrounded by shutdown corners.
Brackey
Oh
Island.
my goodness.
Mason Paris was a legit football prospect. He had Power 5 offers from Illinois and Indiana, and then a handful of MAC schools. So and I remember it was a debate. I think if he was going to play football, he wanted a bigger offer from like a Michigan,
Yeah.
or something like that. But he saw the opportunities were better in wrestling. This isn't a next topic. Wait for me until we see Gable wrestle Cassiope in Paris, but it could be by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Because I could see Gable just going out and dominating those two.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Gable over Cassiope. I just think Big Tone can shut Mason down.
Big Tone. All right. Little Dave.
Yeah, I also don't think this is the next topic weight, and I cannot wait to see the Mason Paris Gable Stevenson match. I got Paris in the finals, and I can't help but thinking about his win over Amir Zare. Zare just beat Bilal Makov this weekend. Zare has a win over Geno Petriashvili. Zare murdered Daniel Kirkvit last year, and Mason Paris tagged him at Worlds. So I think Mason Paris is really, really good. I think this is going to be an incredible match, but in the end, I have Gable coming out on top.
I've got Mason over Zare in the finals. All right, so we did it. Okay. Now it's time. Let's finish the final awards. Okay, starting with the Hodge Trophy winner, of which Ben Askren only has one vote, despite winning the award twice.
Which is crap, by the way.
I do.
You should get two votes. I have as many votes as Ben. So there's something wrong with the voting system.
Ben should have 2, David Taylor should have 2, Kale should have 3.
Yeah.
2.5. 2.5.
2.5 votes. All right, Ben. Who's your Hodge? You kind of alluded to it, but you may.
Spencer. It's Spencer. I think he's got bonus. Is it every single match?
100% bonus
No
rate.
No one's ever done that in the history of wrestling, to my knowledge. No one's ever got 100% bonus. That was one of my goals my last couple of years. I did not achieve it. I don't think anyone has. I don't think Spencer's going to get it. I think he's going to have 1 or 2 against, say, a Gloria or a Pitch Ninny, where he does not bonus them, but I feel like he's going to get the Hodge.
Okay. To put a little water on your Spencer fire there, he's only he's 9-0. He forfeited out of Midlands. Say what you want about that. I just think that should be mentioned. And he has not faced the rigor of ranked wrestlers that Zahid has. And quality of competition is as you know, a Hodge criteria. And currently, his quality of competition is lower. He's not pinning as many people. Now, he is bonusing absolutely everyone. But I think that's worth mentioning. And I think if you look at it line by line criteria, falls, quality of competition, record, et cetera, on down the line, it's just gonna be a slight edge for Zahid. Now, the one thing, as we're making a prediction, there's a chance that Zahid's gonna hit some more good guys because he's in a better weight class. He could have like some tighter quarterfinals on type of matches. He's had a 1-point match already this year, but I just think he's just at a different place right now. I mean, he majored Hidley when he was basically ranked second in the country. He majored
Guys, but you do realize Zahid was like 1 inch away from losing. Like, it was so close on that reversal at the end. He was so close to losing. No one's came within 8 points of Spencer.
Okay, but you were talking about Taylor Vins. If Taylor Vins was a 125-pounder, that'd be far and away the best guy that Spencer had wrestled all year long.
He'd only have 1 leg.
I'm just saying, if someone of Taylor Vins' caliber was at 125, that would be by far the best guy that he'd wrestled all year long. So that's part of my point. So that impacts his bonus production when you're wrestling. Well, first of all, fewer matches, but also fewer ranked
Yeah.
wrestlers, fewer highly ranked wrestlers.
Well, I'm
So-
sure he's going to hit somebody in the next stretch, right? I mean, they got the Big Ten dual schedule, and then they have the Big Tens, then NCAAs. He's going to hit more good. I mean, let's see. Let me see how many guys Big Ten has ranked at 125.
He's
What's
going to
the
be
answer?
cruising.
Heinzelman this weekend, Meredith from Penn State next weekend,
They're both not
Medley.
ranked.
Griffin from Michigan State,
yeah,
Medley
he's not
from
ranked.
Michigan, Pat McKee, and Pitch to close the season. So those guys are
So
ranked.
McKee, yeah.
He
McKee
won't
and Pitch are
see.
ranked.
He won't see a ranked wrestler until February 15th.
He will have a 100% bonus rate going into the pitch match. I think there's no.
Wow.
Yeah, he will.
And then he's
So
he's
if he
pitched.
bonuses pitch, does your mind change?
It might. I'm not ready to hand this to Zahid. And I think it's very much in the cards for Spencer to win it. I think something about being a catalyst for your team too. That's not a criteria, but man, you brought this team back, and that almost segues to my coaching. But I'll get to that, I guess, afterwards. Daniel.
You're going to give Spencer Lee the coaching award?
Yes. No.
What?
It segues to my point, but not that Spencer should be
Okay.
coach of the year. Although he will have a.
It's called a
maybe,
tease, folks.
Maybe you should get a vote. Yeah, it's a tease. Coming up.
Come up next. So to me, it's and I've written this. I read this in today's article. Basically since I did the Hodge, it's Zahid and Spencer, and then Mark Hall, and then everybody else. The 100% bonus thing would make it pretty dang difficult to
Oh my gosh.
not vote for Spencer because, as Ben Askren said, it's never been done before. However, I don't think he's going to bonus 100% people just because it's never been done before. So I do think if Spencer wins, it'll be because I won a team title. I don't think. I think the stats will kind of end up being pretty similar because he's going to run through the Pac-12 schedule just like I think Spencer's going to run through the rest of his schedule. And as CP said, everything's going to go a little bit in Zahid's way, and then he's a senior, and as we know, it's typically an award that's been dominated by seniors. So I think it'll be one of the better Hodge races in recent memory, maybe ever, honestly. I'm going to go with Zahid, but I think Spencer is the only guy who can unseat him. And I think right now it's pretty close. I think it's going to remain pretty close throughout the year. And I'm going to keep doing Hodge rankings to make sure that you stupid people who vote for it don't screw it up last time like the idiots who voted for Jason Nolf.
Well, he didn't win, buddy.
Yeah, I know. That's why they're dumb. It's so obviously Bo Nickel last year. And if you voted for Jason Nolf last year, you should have your Hodge vote revoked.
Okay. Wonder if,
And give it to me.
all right.
Well, everyone else, yeah, and all the people that wanted two Hodges.
All right,
Those
Steve.
people also
Two
should
that-
revoke the
I'm
rest of
taking,
the
take.
card.
I'm taking Spencer Lee.
That's the worst take.
I'm taking
All right.
Spencer Lee. He runs through this next 5-6 duels with pins or techs. Bonuses pitch, same major. Runs through Big Tens. Runs through NCAAs. Spencer Lee.
I'm not mad at it.
Spencer
Yeah.
freaking
I'm looking at highest bonus rates. David Taylor, his senior year, had 94% bonus rate.
Where are you? What website is this on? Where are you finding this?
WrestleStat. I was trying, but David's sophomore year may have been actually even better.
Yeah, I think
it
you
was
only.
higher.
I think you only missed two matches the 1 year.
Yeah, it was Hatchet, who he later teched, and did
Yeah.
he have like a weird Nate Moore or Mike Evans kind of Iowa thing?
Yes,
can't
I believe
remember.
so.
Something like
which
that.
which category are you choosing here, Christian?
What do you mean by
Guide
that?
me, please. I'm on WrestleStat.
Oh,
Which
just
category
Google
are you
Wrestle. It's kind of hard. I don't like navigating like that. I just Google WrestleStat David Taylor, and then the profile pops up. This is like the top thing Googled. That's like the quickest way to get it, rather than finding it on the website.
There should be like a category where I can click here.
I know. Just do what I say.
highest
It'll
bonus.
be faster. Okay,
Oh,
David.
I got Zahid. I mean, if Spencer Lee doesn't major pitch, then all of a sudden their bonus rate looks very, very similar. Zahid's face a way tougher field. You guys have already said it, but I got Zahid.
To Christian's point, Taylor had 2 seasons where he wrestled 34 matches and 32 matches and didn't bonus 2 of them. So 2014, 32 bonus wins in 34 matches, 94.1%. 2012, 30 bonus point wins in 32 matches, 93.8%. So basically negligible. However, Zane's junior year, 24 pins or techs in 27 matches.
Whew. That's
the most dominant season I've ever seen.
Oh, pins or techs got in 20. Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Crazy. All right. Let's go Coach of the Year. And I think we were like, when is this Penn State thing going to end? Is this ever going to, is this just like Penn State for perpetuity? And I think we all do. At some point, it's just, but we didn't think it was going to happen this year, right? Yep. Everyone was picking Penn State coming in this year. And you can say Kassar, but as Ben points out every show with the point differential, Kassar's not making the
It wouldn't have mattered.
It wouldn't have mattered right now.
As of right now.
And so for me, my midseason Coach of the Year is Tom Brands.
Well, wait, your midseason. Hold on. Your midseason Coach of the Year. You're picking it.
Yeah,
your
and prediction.
Okay, I thought we were doing
And
prediction.
it's Brand of the Year.
End of the year.
Yes,
yeah.
prediction.
Okay.
My midseason
Sorry,
prediction Coach of the Year.
There you go.
Yes.
Wait, it's Ben's turn.
Oh yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, Ben.
You stole my pick. Okay. I'll go Tom Brand. Tom Brand's also my runner-up is I'm surprised you didn't mention this guy. Nomad Kerry Colette. I think he's doing a fantastic job, but not quite. They do top 10. If Campbell does top 10, I'll give him Coach of the Year at some point.
Yeah, I think that would be. I think he has done. There is kind of like different sort of things, and Nomad sort of alluded to it with Coach of the Year. It's like, do you take the best team of the coach of the best team, or do you take the one that? But like you think about like NC State and Virginia Tech, they were kind of that story, but they also like podiumed, right, with Pat Pop and Dresser, and I think Roby should have some consideration right now. I think Ersland should have some consideration for sure. I think there's other guys. I think Colette would be very worthy. I think Colette's time will come where he enters that conversation, but I think you've got to put a couple of guys on the podium. Yeah, you can't just be a really salty dual team with one guy placing. You got to get 3 or 4 guys placing for that to become reality. So yeah, I'm going Tom Brands. Did you go?
No, Ben. I don't think Kerry Colette's like a completely off the wall pick. But I am with Christian. It is hard because what type of scale are you grading Campbell on? But they certainly could have a tremendous end to the year. Again, if Tom Brands wins, Iowa's first title in a decade, he certainly should be in consideration. But to me, it's really the same guys that I picked for the same guys that I made my finalists for the midseason, the same guys I think are going to be there at the end. Ersland, Storniolo, and Roby. Bracky took me through some stats yesterday about Ersland, about how they went from unranked in the preseason to number 10 right now, with Schroeder, Coleman, Leidy, and Bruner all making big jumps, like 5+ jumps.
All those guys were ranked outside the top 10 to start the year, or unranked, and now are in the top 10. So
yeah,
crazy what they've done.
Yeah, so I think that when you look at like the composition of an individual team making big jumps, Storniolo, I think a lot of it rides on. I picked Rivera and Deacon to win. Obviously, they aren't overwhelming favorites, so they could fall off. But if you get Deacon and Rivera win are in the finals, and then you get DiAugustino placing, you get Luke Davison placing. I certainly think Storniolo could be in consideration, and then Roby, they started the year like 18th or something, around 20th, and then if they can jump in the top 10 with Mackay Olympic redshirting, and they've battled some injuries too, right? Season enders to Corbin Myers and Brent Moore. So I think those are the same guys, but I'm not really complaining if somebody picks, a Kerry Colette or a Tom Brands if they win. And again, if Penn State wins, Cale should get it.
Yeah, heck yeah, he should.
Coach Brands, just the mountain that we thought they were up against this year, and then for them to come out and be as impressive as they are and just, smashing everybody, got to be Iowa.
Read that comment from Facebook.
Yes, Judson Mullen with the comment of the day so far. Mark Hall is my pick for Coach of the Year.
What he's done as a high school coach to win an NCAA title is really something.
Incredible. David.
I'm going to go with Coach Brands because of what he's done at so many different weight classes developing guys. And also, we've been following this team race super closely all year. And every week it's like Iowa gains a couple more points in the projection, a couple more. I think the way that Tom Brands could potentially, become surpassed by somebody like Coach Ursuline is if Iowa wins the title but wins it with like 95 points or something, and Ursuline gets 4 guys on the podium, then I think maybe Purdue wins it. But right now, just the progression, I mean, you guys like Lugo, surging up to number 1. DeSanto had a number 1 spot for a while. He's looked so good. Cassiope as a freshman looks amazing. And then the Assad move looks like a genius move right now too. So if Iowa performs where we have them projected to perform, I think it's a no-brainer for Brands.
Sweet. And finally, bringing it home, freshman of the year. Ben, who is your freshman of the year?
Well, I only picked one freshman to win an NCAA title, and so I can't go against myself. So that would be the man Sammy Sasso.
I think that's true for me as well. I think I contractually obligated to pick Sammy Sasso. Sasso, freshman of the year. Congrats, Sammy.
Boom.
You really did it.
Yeah, you win national titles as a freshman, especially if you're the only one. Freshman of the year, easy.
Yeah, if you're the only one.
I had Big Tone in the finals, and to him I gave the midseason award too. So Big Tone.
Big Tone.
Good one.
I had Brayton Lee in the finals, so I'll go Brayton.
Nice. It'll probably be none of those guys. Lucky for us.
I think there's a good bet that it's one of those 3. Probably like, I don't know what, 70%. I mean, who else could sneak in there? Maybe a David Carr or
Carr.
who else?
Trent Hidley.
Carr, Hidley.
Trent Hidley.
Yeah, it would be those guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of unlikely. Yeah, good point. Okay. 9:37. I'll get to some questions before we depart. Ben, do you have any before we get to questions or anything anything on your mind?
I love you know what? I clicked on the FloWrestling show on Facebook today, and I love how Bracky's talking trash to people on I got it's Bracky, right?
Yes.
Talking trash to people?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's fantastic. I love it.
He's a big trash talk guy.
They say crazy stuff sometimes. You got to reel them in.
Yeah, what's the craziest thing that was said?
I had to go back and find it. I'll get back to you.
All right, he'll get back to us on that.
I'm gonna. It won't let me scroll back any farther.
You can sort. Hey,
Okay,
one thing I was
I don't know how to
thinking
do that.
as Ben made his Hodge selection, I couldn't help but remember who
What?
coaches Zahid Valencia. And then wonder if that maybe impacted his selection. Just saying. He did say not an hour ago, I hope this man spills his coffee this morning. My gracious.
I'm not conspiring against the Heat for the Hodge. I promise. I'm not
Okay.
doing that.
All right. Just wanted you to be able to get out in front of that. Okay.
All right, let's go. Questions
go.
for friends.
All right, I'll do it. Sorry, I accidentally closed the document briefly.
Uh-oh.
I had the wrong one open. It's fine. It's back. It's back.
Stall.
Over under 9.5 team points scored by Ohio State against Iowa on Friday. Ben, 9.5 points for Ohio State.
Over.
Woo.
Over. I got them winning. Fletcher, Sasso, Colin Moore, and are they winning one more? Maybe Rocky Jordan. Maybe not.
First of all, Matt Kaminer. That's the line right there, 9.5. I think
That's
well
a good
done.
one, yeah.
Well done.
I'm gonna
there.
say yes. Tough. It's gonna be tough though.
It's going to be tough. I think, honestly, because they're going to win 41, they're going to win 97. I feel super confident in both of those. But like 49, is Sasso, with his tiredness issues, going to go in there and win, right? That's going to be really tough. I think I'm taking the under. I think it's going to be really tough.
So JD Raider and I did this whiteboard war yesterday.
Don't spoil it completely.
I won't spoil it completely, but I'll just say I have the under.
I think the under's I mean, yeah, it's gonna be. They don't match up great. They're gonna need like an Ethan Smith or a Caleb. I mean, something kind of off the wall.
Ethan Smith. You're calling Ethan Smith over Marinelli?
No, I'm not calling that.
You heard it first. Right?
It's more realistic
Right
than Heinzelman over Spencer or Decatur over Decatur's DeSanto at Carver Hawkeye.
It's not
Not a
good.
deal.
They might want to trot out Dylan
So,
Kuntz.
we-
I don't know. I'm worried about Decatur's long term. This is gonna be really hard for him.
We've kind of
Yeah.
beat his stamina issues into the ground, and it hasn't been a problem yet. But
Yeah, it really hasn't.
But
He
him
can't-
going against one DeSanto and two being a Carver Hawk, I don't like that combination.
And he's not good on top. You
Right.
know, he's amazing on
Right.
his feet. Decatur's gonna have his day.
He also got the first takedown, Seth Gross.
He did.
Yes, I meant to bring that up. We said that. Me and you, Brad Case.
Yeah, we did.
Y'all were right. Kudos to you guys. Okay, so I'm taking the under. Ben's bullishly taking the over. And man, we didn't talk about Rocky Jordan yesterday. I said last week or at some point, it's like, right now it doesn't look like they're going to even qualify this weight with two blue chip guys, Gavin Hoffman and Rocky Jordan. And then, I mean, at that point, that was like the realistic thing to say. And now, okay, Rocky's back. Because I was bullish on Rocky at the beginning of the year. I was like, I think he's going to have a really good year. And then bad things happened. He lost his wrestle off, I think. And then,
He was down at 74. And since he's moved up to 84, he's 11-1.
who's his one?
Janzer from Rutgers, who's ranked in the top 25.
Janzer is sneaky good, and not only but the bonus stats too.
Yeah,
right?
he has like 6 wins by bonus.
Yeah.
I just I
Right?
love watching the Jordans wrestle. I think they're always really fun. So I hope Rocky ends up being a super solid guy for the Bucks.
And did you guys hear at the beginning of the year that he was in consideration for their 84 spot?
Well, I knew he was real big.
Yeah, that's so. This kind of maps that maybe weight cut related issues, and that's why he's now being more offensive and winning. So
He does not look small.
yeah.
Okay. Which member in the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club is most likely to win the Olympic title in Tokyo? This is kind of obvious.
Why
right?
is this a question?
Well, yeah. Okay, sorry. City Wrestle.
Oh, I
wants
guess
to know.
They
they have Kyle Snyder.
Snyder's in Indiana. Okay, I forgot about that.
So,
But David Taylor is
I don't think
still
it's
the
as-
answer.
Because if you assume that Jaden is going to go 86,
Oh.
which is a current
Oh, yeah.
assumption, you have to be on the
But-
team to win the Olympics.
It's still David Taylor.
But it was still David Taylor because he's only got to beat one guy, which would be
Okay.
Jaden.
I said my piece, Chrissy. Okay. Will there be non-Olympic worlds this year? No. Sorry. I don't think
There's
so.
not. Why not? Why are they not doing that?
I think there's like a host city issue or maybe just like,
Nobody's ponying up the dough.
yeah.
It should be hosted in Austin, Texas.
You're ding-dang right. Deep in the heart of Texas. Why didn't we put in a bid?
No man just got excited.
All right. Hey,
That would be awesome. Think about all the awesome guys that aren't going to make the Olympics. It would
What?
just be tremendous world championships.
speaking of awesome guys, Dave Bave is going 70 at the Eureka.
Oh yeah, I don't.
What's he doing that for?
Call
He
me
wants
silly
an
American.
invite to freaking Austin. He wants an invite to Austin, Texas. Obviously.
Call me silly American. I don't understand tournaments in Olympic years that feature non-Olympic weights, and I don't understand rankings in Olympic years that feature non-Olympic weights. I don't know, but
Okay.
I just think it's really strange.
John Paul Fontana, maybe a fake name, or an awesome real name. Any stats on how many Sorensen bandanas have been sold so far? No, I don't know. I know 12 have been sold at least in the FloWrestling, because David Braga ordered 10, I ordered 1, and Matt Bowlesby had 1. So there's at least 12.
Per our Instagram story, a veritable S-ton.
Wow. Veritable. Okay. All right. Any other questions? I know it's 9:43.
I like this. I want to know what this guy was meaning here. Ryan Warner, who he's got a nice podcast. He
Yes.
says, rumor has it one of the champs has positive PEDs. Champs of what? What are we talking here?
I have to assume bobsled. No, I think one of the world champs last year. There is a rumor swirling that one of them.
Really?
Tested positive. Yes, that is
Who?
swirling. I don't know.
We don't
Who's
know.
your guess? Well, who's your guess?
Oh, this is my guess. If I had to guess,
A Russian,
I would guess a
obviously.
Russian. If I had to guess a Russian world champion that would test positive, it wouldn't be Sadulayev. So I'll say
Rashidov.
I'll say
Rashidov.
Aguyev.
Oh,
Goyev
right.
has previously served time.
He did time in the clink. We have to call it serving time from now on.
Yeah.
The worst part was the Dementor.
Yeah, and the Dementors were definitely the worst part of that. So Ryan Warner, that is swirling big time.
What
But-
about Rashidov? He definitely looked like he was on some extra rocket fuel.
Dude, he is a rocket man.
I love Rashidov.
Yeah, he is so good. All right, here's a question from CP Talk. I'm a middle school coach in a non-wrestling state. This is actually a Ben Askren question. Do you have any
Okay.
ideas, even though you're in a wrestling state, irrelevant, do you have any ideas on how to get kids excited about the wrestling world?
So does he mean like a non-wrestling state? Because the only one of those is Mississippi. They don't sanction high school wrestling. Or does he just mean somewhere where it's not as popular? Is that
Yeah,
what
like
we're going
where
with
I'm
there?
from in Virginia would qualify. Like no one knows who Austin DeSanto or Spencer Lee are there. Whereas like it's a little more cultural
Yeah.
in like Wisconsin and
Sure.
Whatever.
Pennsylvania, Ohio, et cetera, et
of
cetera.
course.
Yeah, I think you got to ooze the passion yourself. You got to love the. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with it being a Flow membership, so kids can access the content really easily and start following who the superstars are. I think that has a huge part to do with it. But I mean, I talk about wrestling matches on literally a daily basis, and frankly, now when I bring something up, most kids have an opinion on what happened Ohio State versus Wisconsin last weekend, or what happened Iowa versus Nebraska. I mean, we have middle school kids having opinions on this stuff, which is fantastic, and that's what we need. So I do think Flow plays a huge role in that.
Oh wow, great commercial. Thank you, Ben. That's a great one to end on.
Hey, I got a
It's
little bit
true.
of breaking news.
Breaking news.
Apparently, John Smith told the media yesterday he's leaning towards not trying to bring Cade Brock back this year and applying for a medical hardship waiver.
Okay.
Wow.
Because I think we had been thinking that Cade was going to come back, and they'd kind of talked about that. He said, I'm going to be real careful about what we do. He's a little bit over 4.5 months in, almost 5, and normally it's a 6-month process for the injuries. So is that going to give him enough time? He's been injured twice, so we have that option to apply for a 6th year. I'd say right now I'm probably more leaning toward not bringing him back because of some of the things I've seen.
Which is interesting, and the reason we thought that is because they literally said, "Hey, he's gonna be back.
Yeah.
Expect Cade Brock back." So I think that's great. I mean, I think I'm a Cade Brock guy, so I want to see his last run to have the full effort and chance for Cade to reach the success that he wants to have. So I think that makes sense, and especially what they have potentially coming in and what they can be maybe next year, it makes sense. And plus, if he's coming back at 41, getting G out of the lineup, I don't know how great that is. So I think it's a good decision. Ben, anything else before we depart?
I got to pee so bad. That's all I got.
All right. Well, Caleb, please play the music for Ben's own good. Thank you guys so much for what?
No, nothing. I'm out. I'm done.
What you guys didn't know is that all the hubbub about my Mark Hall comment was really just to pump the Mark Hall block party coming today.
Wow.
10 a.m., 12 minutes.
12 minutes. 12 minutes from now.
Watch all the moves that he's going to teach his future students and charges at both the high school and collegiate level. Everything that he's learned will soon be passed on to another generation of wrestlers.
Wow. Beautiful, Nomad. Yep, check that out.
Beautiful.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. Come heck or high water. Thank you to Ben Askren. Thank you to you for listening. We'll see you soon.